All right, so I did a video with the new job change for Janu, and basically I explained how you guys can get stronger power on Sung. And one thing that's always interesting is the varying amounts of power that people have for Sung. So, you know, that's something that's always a talking point. People will be like, oh, I'm free to play and I've got so much power. And I think that's pretty awesome. But the main thing to remember with this is that there's a lot of things that kind of go into it, but there's also isn't. A lot of it comes down to artifacts and your attack stat itself. So the additional attack percentage, or the additional attack, just a flat stat gain, and then the attack percentage, those are massive on your artifacts. And so you can, if you've got like 30,000+, around 40,000 power, and you're not wasting, you know, artifact slots on things you don't need as much, like, I don't know, damage reduction or something like that, and you're instead getting better artifacts that have better rolls, then you'll be better off. So that's one of the huge things about this. But another part of that was Battlefield of Trials, and people were asking how you clear floor 40. I actually haven't really played much of this because I never really, like, I think actually they added more stages to it, to be fair, but I never really focused a ton on it. So last time I played floor 40, I hadn't cleared it with the optimal conditions. So we're gonna go over it here today because I think this is the condition stage, right? This is what you need, floor 40, to unlock the new job change. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you do subscribe. About 80% of viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're joining that winning 20% that is. We've also had a bunch of people that supported recently. If you are one, then I have sent out the latest batch of rewards for you guys. But if you haven't supported, you can through the link in the description, and I can give you guys all this stuff. And there's another, I don't know what this is, but it's popping up soon now that I've submitted this video. You guys can get all this stuff. And it's not automatic, instantaneous. I've got to go in there and literally initiate it, but that's how that works. So, all right. Make sure you do that through the link in the description. All right, let's go over to floor 40. And this is one of the ones where it drops the stones on the side and then the one in the center. So basically the goal with this is to just flat out overpower it. The recommended power for this is 555,000. And that was something that also tripped some people up when I did the, you know, the video for Janu. And it's like, okay, well, if I get Janu at 150,000, well, I've got to hit 500,000 to really clear this. And guys, the same tips I gave you largely apply to the other hunters too. They don't have a stat grid, but everything else applies to them too. Increasing their stats a certain way, all that stuff works. And if they scale off of not attack, if they scale off defense or HP, then the same thing applies to them for those stats too. But largely putting on high level artifacts in sets is what you want to do. All right. So for this, we're going to go in and just kind of demo it really quickly and go from there, but we'll see what happens here. Let's just kind of see what the layout is. If it ever loads. Okay, there we go.
So, I'm ready.
All right, yeah, it's the ones where it drops them on the side, right? Unless this is a different stage. Yeah, okay, so what's the health looking like? This is not the item I want either. We'll have to change this around. Oh, this is the one that hits you. Okay, how much damage does that do? I'm curious. Well, okay, it probably would do more if my Janu was like lower leveled or something. Okay, it hits you sporadically. Okay, so we're gonna completely change our entire loadout, if you will, on Janu. All right, so let me show you what we're gonna do. You're gonna want to run through that as quickly as possible. So one of the main ways you can do that is with Plum Sword. That's one of the things I'll bring up to you. Let's go in. I see why on my initial run, I probably was autoing it anyway. I see why I didn't clear it though completely through. So we're going to change Janu entirely. Well, aside from the stat spread artifacts. For the record, he's got on these artifacts. I typically like to go for expert on the side. For the weapons, these are fine. I was actually testing out the scythe to see if it still had the same value that it did. I don't think so, but it is what it is. What I'll say is for slot 1, we're going to put Plum here. I think Plum is one that most people should have pretty high level or high invested. Because it's been so valuable throughout the duration of the game. If you're a newer player, you still would like to put Plum there, even if you don't have it fully maxed out. Next up, we're going to put Moon Shadow. Again, same things, extremely valuable weapon. Most people should have. It is another older weapon. If you, for whatever reason, don't have those weapons, or you don't have one of those weapons, you could use Zeke's. Like, Zeke's is really good. I would use this. You could also, I wonder if you could halt or freeze the center pillar. I'm not sure if you can. but those are two that I could consider doing that with. There are also the leveled up SR weapons are ones you can use too. Last but not least, actually, this is what I like to do. You know what's actually probably better is the wind combo. I bet you the wind combo runs through this faster, or maybe some combination of like the daggers and plum sword probably gets this done the fastest. All right, so in terms of this stuff here, it doesn't really matter a ton what you put here. You could, if you're getting hit pretty hard, you could put Chains of Blood on if you think that would help you out. The rest of this though, it doesn't really matter a ton. You can put Mana Rampage on for the extra attack stat. You can, okay, so let me, instead of saying it doesn't help a ton, let me do this. Let's shift this around. We're gonna put Mana Rampage on. We're gonna put that new one on because I'm still testing this out. You don't need that, of course. I like to have this on, but it doesn't work the best with the extra cost, so I will put Demon Slayer on. And I actually think this stage should be easier than it was on my initial pass. You don't need Pulverize. I don't think the boss has a break gauge. We'll confirm that in a second. This should be easier than my initial pass was because of the fact that you now have the survival slots. So that's another thing too. But I'll put Chains on just in case. Now I've got 3 survival slots. What the hell does this new one do? When your basic attack hits, you gain a shield equal to 0.2. Okay, you could run with that, especially if you got it at a higher level. Your damage received decreases. Solidify could help you as well. I like Tenacity a lot, so I'll put Tenacity on. We're not in a team fight mode, so that sword or dagger one doesn't really do much for me. And last but not least, you could do Camouflage if you wanted to do that. HP Extraction is what I will personally put on. I have the new ultimate skill, but of course, you are not going to have that if you can't clear the job. By the way, that means you also won't have this 3rd slot, so keep that in mind. So you're going to be using the other ultimate skill, but that doesn't matter a ton which ultimate skill you're using because I don't know that I'll even get to use the ultimate in this fight. I'm still over leveled, but yeah. And for the skills, this is where things are a little bit fun. You could try to run through it super quickly with magnifying slashes. If you use this properly, you're going to beat the enemy super fast. If you need extra oomph in terms of damage, you can run that. You can also do some sort of like crit gain bonuses here. There's a lot of things you can kind of do with the skills. Honestly, it kind of comes down to what you want to do. You can also run some of the counter stuff if you wanted to time it that way. I think that's a little bit too cheeky for me personally, but so I'm not going to do that, but you could definitely do that. Also, the ones like this where they increase your damage against monsters, that should work against those pillars. Maybe the game is hyper specific and it doesn't. Somebody let me know. But that is, I think, mostly what we're going to do for this fight. Not going to spend much more time on this. I guess we'll talk about the QTEs. Again, I don't think the boss has a break gauge, so these don't really matter that much either. Whichever one fits your specific build, all the more the better. This one increases damage. I didn't even know that was down there. Damage increase, where is that at? It activates Resonance. So Resonance, when the target's in break, Resonance does that, and then does a... Oh, okay. Okay. When the skill hits, it activates... I'll put that one on. That's actually really good. A damage increase right there is actually pretty good. Okay. So that's mostly it. And then otherwise, if you're struggling, just go full strength on Janu. It doesn't show that the boss has any passives. So for the side hunters, this is largely, again, another one where it's up to you what you want to do. I don't think you need to run a healer or a character that gives you a shield per se. I would actually opt to run more characters that can help you with damage output. So that would be characters that can help you with crits, or I guess you could, he has a shield too, but I mainly was thinking about him for crits as well. He helps you with the tankiness, so you could put him on your team. She does the branding. That's pretty nice. You also can run him for the extra bonuses here too. Does also help you with the defensive shield if you are struggling, but if you have a light build, you can do that. I like to run Min as well for the crit bonuses on his passive and the fact that he can help us here with the extra damage through the punishment. And then, since again, you don't really have... ooh, we can run her. I think her... crit hit rate of the user's basic skill and ultimate skills. Interesting. She's probably increased damage dealt too. She's probably better. She's probably better if you have Reawakening on or something like that, or a build that's kind of spammy for skills. So let's actually shift our build one time here really quick, and we'll do that. I was trying to use more like literal stuff, but we'll go Reawakening and put it right here instead of Chains. That should be perfectly fine because we've got this legendary Demon Slayer. I literally just got this yesterday, so we should not run out of MP. And for our skills, ideally you're using magnifying slashes for the record, but I feel like that's kind of overkill. But I mean, you guys should have it ideally. If you don't have it, you can run another DPS based one here like Mutilate or some of these other ones. They can get the job done for you. Since magnifying slashes was so OP initially and they went back and buffed a lot of these, you can still use them. I like to use the ones that kind of combo into other things pretty good or increase your critical hit bonuses, things like that. I'll put this on. Okay, and we will put on for our last one here. What one that could be kind of good is one that has a combo on it. One that's got a combo on it could be nice, like where it reduces the cooldown of another skill. That could be a good one. Is there one here that does that? There's a few of them in here just in general, but I was wanting to see if I could come across one really quickly. Dagger toss. Electric dagger toss is fun. That's a fun one. That's a fun one just for the chip damage consistently. There's a skill that reduces the cooldown of dagger toss. Is it in here? Collapse. That's a QTE effect bonus. I'm not gonna. There's another QTE cooldown. Huh. Let's do that just because we can. Let's do the QTE one. But it truly doesn't matter a ton. I think with the weapons and stuff, I'm like way overcomplicating this. If you've cleared the story, you will have Beirut there, and you don't necessarily need to do that, but I will leave him just because I want to use him. And let's go. All right, so not gonna be perfect run, but it doesn't really matter a ton. What are the conditions I haven't cleared? That's what I want to see.
Well then.
Is it a health-based one? If it's a health-based one, if you struggle to clear the conditions, you can always just clear it once and go back in and clear it again. 60 seconds and extreme evasion. Okay, that's easy. Supposedly, anyway. Yeah, we're not gonna have any trouble. Okay. What? That was supposed to hit the other one. That's interesting. That's the first time I've used that. Dude, why are you... Oh, it's because he's auto-targeting the other one. I'm like all over the place. Getting resonance there is pretty cool. What? Oh, wow. He did that right when I triggered the skill. That's great. I said he, but you get it. By the way, I never really brought up these other guys. They kind of don't really matter. Yeah, I did that at like half speed. Like seriously, I did that so slow. Oh, that wasn't 60s. I didn't get an extreme evasion. I see why that one's kind of tricky, though. I see why the extreme evasion one is kind of tricky because you've got to time it. Like, you've got to go in there with the explicit goal of getting that. All right, let's try one more time just because.
Hello.
But it's also because that's a loadout I'm not familiar with. It's like completely different stuff than what I'm accustomed to using, so that's part of it too. All right, let's go back. Oof. I like how Janu's head is a bobblehead over here. It's not even the body, it's just the head. It's so funny. You're never going to be able to unsee it now. It's just the head. All right, let's go back in there. Trials. 40. Cool. We got this time. Like how there was a lock on there. Like that mattered. Yeah, I didn't use any of the other characters. I kind of brought them up, but like, you know, that's just because I was trying to help you guys out. I don't personally, like, my Janu's so far beyond this now that I don't necessarily need it. But for you guys that are kind of up and coming, obviously you're not going to have all those guys at A5, but that doesn't matter for their support skills. Okay. That was a waste. God damn it. I'm trying to get the extreme. Oh, okay. I was just about to press the button too. That's great. I'm like trying to get the extreme again. You got to watch that center pillar. There it is. Can I still get this in time? I'm not sure. You guys still didn't destroy these other pillars? Come on, yo. Okay, there it is. That should be 60, right? I was still not very fast. To be fair, I was trying to get the extreme evasion. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of how that one goes. I can see where it's tricky though, because I'm pretty sure for people that are not over leveled like I am, which by the way is the story of Sung Jin-woo, so it makes sense, right, to be over leveled, right? No, but I can understand why for people that aren't over leveled, when you're fighting that thing and it's doing that fire attack, you're probably just getting nearly one shot. And so if you're basically nearly getting one shot, you have to play very well. Some of that's probably happening to you guys now that I think about it. So you have to make sure that you're watching it. So one thing I noticed just now, which is why I was able to get that extreme evasion, is that it I believe brought up like some fire around it, and then it kind of disperses it. So just keep your eye on it. Don't worry so much about the time or anything like that, because the damage part of it is the easiest part. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure that thumbs up and subscribe if you were new, and I'll see you next time.